Salut! Today we are going to learn how to ask yes or no questions using inversion. Inversion is a fancy way to say you flip it. You can ask yes or no questions using ESCA, raising your voice, putting a tag question at the end, but inversion is the most formal way to ask a question. You'll see this commonly. You'll use it in writing. Inversion is a great tool to learn to sound more formal when you are speaking or writing questions in French. These are just yes or no questions. We'll learn later how to add more information like who or why. So first of all, you've seen inversion questions before when you're learning basic stock phrases like comment allez-vous? How are you doing? Or comment t'appelles-tu? What's your name? So this little hyphen and the flipped subject and verb, that's actually inversion. It is pretty easy to do. So this is more formal than ESCA or tag questions. You invert, aka you flip, the subject pronoun. That's je, tu, il, elle, on, or nous, vous, il, elle. You flip that and the verb. So instead of tu parles, you'll go parles-tu. You flip them. When you flip these two words, you put a little line in between called a hyphen. You put a little hyphen to attach them to each other. So here are 4 statements, and we're going to flip the subject and the verb to make them an inverted yes or no question. Sounds very fancy and formal. Vous parlez français is you speak French. Now I could always raise my voice, I could put esque, but let's try inverting these instead. My subject is vous, my verb is parler, flip them. Parlez-vous français? Do you speak French? Parlez-vous français? Tu aimes l'art. You like art. Let's make it a question by saying, aimes-tu l'art? Do you like art? Elles travaillent beaucoup. They work a lot. We're going to flip them. And actually, this one's interesting because normally travail, you don't hear the ENT on the end. This is a silent ending. You are going to hear it here. It's going to make a little liaison sound with that E. Listen up. Travaille-t-elle beaucoup? Travaille-t-elle? Do they work a lot? Travaille-t-elle beaucoup? And then the last one, tu voyages en France, you're traveling to France. Voyages-tu en France? So try these out. Let's look at some examples. Feel free to pause this video and think about it if you need a second. Otherwise, just follow along with me. Tu aimes les livres? You like books? How would you make this a question? Aimes-tu les livres? You need the little hyphen in between to connect these thoughts and so that people know you're using inversion on purpose. Vous détestez étudier. You hate to study. Détestez-vous étudier? Do you hate to study? Il regarde un film. Regarde-t-il? I hear that T. Regarde-t-il un film? Nous mangeons à midi. Are we going to eat lunch at noon? Mangeons-nous à midi? There you go. Notice I didn't do any examples with je. Inversion does exist with je. I just don't usually ask many questions about myself, but it's possible. What if there are some vowels near each other? We're going to have a little bit of a pronunciation problem. If the verb ends in a vowel, which a lot of ER verbs for il and elle do, and if the subject pronoun is il, elle, or on, which starts with a vowel, we're going to have a little bit of a clash here. So if you say, il mange à la cantine, he's eating in the cafeteria. I cannot just flip mangil. Mangil won't work. Instead, we are going to insert, seems weird, looks weird, feels weird, but you'll get used to it. Insert a little T in there. Mange-t-il. And you hear that T and you can see it. Mange-t-il à la cantine? Is he eating in the cafeteria? It's just what they do. On travaille. Aujourd'hui, we're working today. If I want to say, hey, are we working today? I can't just flip travaillons. That actually sounds like the new form. That sounds like travaillons, nous travaillons. So I can't do it. I have to say travaille-t-on and put a little T in there to split up those vowel sounds. Kind of interesting. Elle aime la France. I can't say aime-elle. That sounds like bleh, just too flowy. I gotta break it up a little bit. Aime-t-elle? Aime-t-elle la France? Let's look at examples. What would I do here? Il adore dessiner. Adore-t-il dessiner? Elle arrive ce matin. She's arriving this morning. Arrive-t-elle ce matin? Does she arrive this morning? On commence maintenant. We're starting now. Commence-t-on maintenant? Are we starting now? Hopefully so far all of that makes sense. There is one more very important thing to point out. And what we've seen so far, let me go back, is subject pronouns. Je, tu, il, elle, nous, vous, il, elle, on. What if you have a noun that's not a subject pronoun, like somebody's name or la fille or something like that? You can't invert that. Only subject pronouns, je, tu, il, elle, on, nous, vous, il, elle, only subject pronouns can be flipped. If you have a noun like le cours or somebody's name like Antoinette, you can't flip that. Instead, you put the corresponding pronoun in. So if the word were Antoinette, you know that that's actually elle. You're going to put elle into the equation. If the word was les chiens, the dogs, that's a group of masculine things, so il, I'll insert the word il. Let's look at what that looks like. Les garçons mangent. A lot of people will be tempted to just flip what they see here, but that's hard to do. What would you flip? Mange les garçons? Doesn't quite go. So what you're going to do instead is say les garçons, and then take my verb and put the right pronoun afterwards. Les garçons mangent-ils? The boys, are they eating? So I still identify who they are, but I do inversion properly. What would I do here? Victor arrive demain. I'd keep Victor where he is, and I would put the corresponding pronoun after my verb, which will be he. I do need to insert a little T there. Victor arrive-t-il demain? Victor, does he arrive tomorrow? The class is hard. Le cours est difficile. Le cours equates to il, it's masculine singular. So le cours est-il difficile? That's what I will do if I have a noun that's not a subject pronoun. For example, Gilles retrouve un ami. Gilles is a guy. Gilles retrouve-t-il un ami? So I have to insert il. I put that in to add. It corresponds with Gilles. And I need to break it up with the little T there too. Janelle cherche son sac. Think about that one. Janelle cherche-t-elle son sac? Is she looking for her bag? Les amis sont sympas. The friends are nice. They are masculine friends. I don't see an E in there. So les amis sont-ils sympas? Are they nice? Le livre est intéressant. Book is masculine singular. Le livre est-il intéressant? Is the book interesting? That's about all you need to know when it comes to inversion for right now with yes or no questions. I do want to point out two little stock phrases that we use, il y a and c'est. Il y a means there is or there are, like il y a 10 livres, there's 10 books. And to make a question, are there 10 books? We get to say y a-t-il? Y a-t-il? The word c'est means it is. If I want to say is it, I separate these out and it becomes est. So here's what they look like in context. Il y a une bibliothèque. There's a library. Y a-t-il une bibliothèque? Is there a library? Y a-t-il is what that sounds like. Y a-t-il? Y a-t-il? Il y a deux personnes. Y a-t-il deux personnes? Are there two people there? C'est amusant. That's funny. Is it funny? You're going to flip and it'll be est amusant. Is that funny? Here's two more examples. C'est mon professeur. That's my teacher. Maybe you don't know who that person is and you want to say, is that my teacher? Est mon professeur? Est-ce mon professeur? Il y a un gymnase à l'école. Imagine a little accent on that one. Oops. Y a-t-il un gymnase à l'école? Is there a gym at the school? Y a-t-il? Est. Et voilà, that is how you use inversion to ask yes or no questions. We'll insert more question words later like who and when and where. But for now, the idea of inversion is you take your subject pronoun and your verb, you flip them with a hyphen in between. Au revoir.